morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Midefani and welcome to MCM TV. Today is a very special edition. I have a guest by the name of Given. He's a student at Univen. He's doing animal production. So we will be discussing everything agriculture, especially in the poultry industry. So I'll start by giving you our weekly update as I usually do. In the first bulletin today, we have the Ankole, which was sold at 3 million at the auction. So basically what they're saying is that there's a very good future for those who are breeding the Ankole. Apparently it's a very rare breed. So this man will divulge more on that. Can you please tell us what you know about the Ankole breed, and where does it come from, how it was introduced in South Africa?
Ankole breed, it's a very rare breed around South Africa, but in Ghana it's a breed that they get used to. It's like when I say Nguni. Nguni is very popular around South Africa, but when you go out, Kenya, Ghana, you rarely find such breed. Okay. So Ankole is known for its unique horns, the big horns.
Yeah, it has those big horns.
Yes, with a slim face.
Yeah.
And it can adapt very easily in hard conditions.
Okay.
Remember, we are living in Africa, what we call South Africa, where climate change is becoming more and more badly affecting the land.
Yeah.
So we need something that can
adapt easily to the
that can work with the environment at the same time. Okay. Because as I said before, Ankole it's a very adaptive breed in terms of high temperatures.
Okay.
Yeah, same apply to Ngoni. So it can be productive. So which means you won't have much problem. You won't encounter much problem. Like, okay, let me give you for example, like JC.
Yeah.
JC, when you go to Limpopo Dairy, they keep it indoor. Not because for the aim of the production, but at some point they're not good for high temperature.
No, it does not perform well in high temperature.
That is why you find there are just a perfect spot where they will just put it, because they are trying to find a favorable condition for them. But in Ankole, you don't have to control the temperature. They are like indigenous cattle around Africa.
Okay.
So JC is a European breed.
Okay, it was brought into Africa for production purposes.
Yeah, for milk production purposes.
Okay.
And for butter, butter.
I heard Ankole was first introduced by the president in this country. He imported it from Ghana. He was the first one to import Ankole from Ghana into South African market. So people actually got to know about the Ankole since he introduced it. So it is said that it was sold at 3 million. Basically what they're saying, the market is very good for those who have the Ankole. The second bulletin is about Jeannie De Villiers, who was the CEO of Green South Africa. He resigned after working at the Green as the CEO of Green South Africa for 10 years. Before he was a member of the South African Mill, where they were producing maize meal and what, and then he joined the South African Green. So now he had stepped down after 10 years. He joined the Green South Africa in 2011. So it's been 10 years since then. Do you have any knowledge about that?
Yeah, for that I won't say much, because how a grain play a role in food security.
Yes.
It may be it will maybe affect the production, but at some point it will take time for them to adapt, because that guy is he has get used. He know how to control the business. It's like you living in your home. When you go to you relocate to another place, it will be hard for you to adapt in that place. So same apply to the same person who will be running, maybe be the CEO of Green what will be the CEO of Green what. It will be hard for that particular person to adapt. maybe you will find out there will be slight worry downfall in the market.
Yeah.
But when it goes with time, maybe the person will adapt. So that the change that will it will affect the market in the Greece. But I don't think
because he also said that when he started his phase, he faced a lot of challenges because they had to move the offices for the head office from, I forgot the place, but they had to move to Pretoria. The head office had to move to Pretoria, and people were scared about the changes. They didn't know how the change will affect the market and the production. But as time goes, they got used to it. And then he further said that the South Africa it might be the one of the greatest grain exporters as time proceeds. So that was it about the Mr. Jeannie De Villiers. Is a white man. The last bulletin is about the outbreak of a highly pathogenic avian influenza. It's the 6th outbreak. I spoke about the first and the second outbreak that had happened in Ankole in the past videos, and then about the other one that happened in Potchefstroom. So today we are speaking about the other outbreak in Cape Town, in Western Cape. Now this has a bad, very bad impact on the South African poultry, because Botswana, Lesotho and Swaziland have imposed a complete ban of exportation from South Africa. So we know if those countries have banned the exportation of poultry from South Africa, the economy is going to be affected. It's going to be affected because most of the chickens that were affected were resorted to culling. They were basically killed and then disposed wherever they were disposed. So over to you, sir.
Influenza it's a very highly contagious disease, because it's a notifiable disease. What do I mean when I say notifiable disease? Once you find or you suspect such thing, or there is an outbreak, like, or you are suspecting or is influenza, you need to report it to
It's not actually a suspect, it's proven.
Yeah, I mean,
or if you suspect
around your farm.
Okay.
If you suspect such thing, or if you see any symptoms and you suspect, or this is maybe it will be an influenza.
Yeah.
You need to call a veterinarian for confirmation first. So once the veterinarian confirmed that indeed it is the influenza, is then you can report, or the veterinarian can report it to the government.
Okay.
That is why I'm saying it is a notifiable disease. It can also affect human being.
Oh, okay.
So that is why the risk. And one thing that comes with sun influenza, there is no cure there.
Or that's why they resort to culling them.
Yes, there is no cure. And one thing, there is no cure in these things. Ne? So what you need to do now, you need to do what do we call biosecurity. Biosecurity, it's like preventing. Prevention is better than cure.
So quarantine.
Yes, quarantine stuff. Once there is an outbreak, you must encourage each and one to follow, like sanitizing, fumigation, pesticides, pest control. So you may find the breeding area. I better remember it's a highly contagious disease.
Yes, I read about it.
The symptoms will be flu, fever, muscle ache, coughing, maybe shortness of breath at some point. So you may see how highly contagious is the disease if it is not handled well. But when there is an outbreak, the government encourage vaccine. It is there for you. Okay. So once you say vaccine, we're not saying you are completely free from the disease.
How accessible is the vaccine?
It's free for government. That is why it is notifiable. A notifiable disease is like a foot and mouth disease. You don't buy the medicine. It is costly to the government.
Okay. No, the reason why I'm asking how accessible is the vaccine is because there are people who are practicing poultry farming in the rural areas, and they don't know these things. They just see their chicken maybe starting to act in a weird way because they are affected, and they don't know what is going on. They can't even afford or have access to the veterinarians. So that's why I was asking the question: how accessible is
Once if you are a farmer, you must always be aware of the outcomes all the time. You must always be aware, or I'm running the business, the risks that come when handling animal. They were talking about animal.
Yes.
Yeah, when we were talking about animal, some animal are highly exposed to environment. It is very hard for you as a rural farmer. You don't know the quarantine method.
Yeah.
You don't know how to do what cleaning of or disinfection once
of the chicken run.
Yes, don't know how to handle the drinkers. You don't clean the drinkers, the bowel, the feeders. You don't clean that thing.
Because hygiene is very important.
Hygiene is everything.
Because it applies to both animals and human beings.
So deep litter. What do I mean when I say deep litter? For those who are running poultry farming, deep litter. Deep litter. I'm saying like sawdust. You know sawdust?
Yes, I know sawdust.
Yes. So once you see, okay, this one is been long here and it's getting more wet, more moisture, it can be a breeding place. If the dust, the sawdust, it has high moisture, it can be the breeding ground for bacteria and virus.
Okay.
Yes. So you must make sure, or when you put your drinker, don't make sure that they are not splitting around. That is why the best way to advise the farmer, you must find nipple drinker. Nipple drinker is safe because it's good for
so the water won't spill around and wet the sawdust.
Because it will have a cap which hold the water.
Okay, the water won't be spilled
It's
around.
like nipple drink. Nipple drink is like what can I explain? Have you ever gone to commercial farming like piggery?
Yes, I have.
When you find they don't put water there. They just like a pipe.
Oh yeah, when you go there and then you just
yes
sprinkle small water.
Yeah, same apply to the chicken.
Okay.
Yes, to the chicken. So when you are dealing with this kind of disease, you must know, or once you find a disease inside your maybe 2 or 4 chicken inside your farm, you must the whole house, I mean the whole chicken inside the house, they must be culled. The cull is the process of removing. We don't influence people to eat, and you don't just cull it. You may be burning them, bury them. Don't just kill it and throw it away outside, because it will also affect the environment.
If I must ask, is this culling process legal? Because we know there's this issue of animal cruelty.
It is legal.
It's legal.
It is legal. When you cull the animal, it is legal. We are talking about the dangerous disease here, which you have no mercy. And if you don't handle it with care, you are gonna lose a lot. Yeah. You can also be exposed to disease yourself. So it must be handled with care. Okay. Culling, a lot of people, they will tell you, a lot of veterinarian will give you advice or you must dig a deep hole and throw them inside there, so that you and bury them inside there, to avoid the further spread of. After that, you clean the whole house. You do fumigation, disinfection all over. You wait maybe for 2 weeks. And then you can bring the new stock.
So basically, this thing is a pandemic.
It's a pandemic on its own, special to chicken. It's like a Newcastle.
Yo.
It's like Newcastle. It's a very dangerous disease.
I don't know Newcastle.
Yeah, Newcastle. It's a very dangerous disease. It's also same.
It's an influenza as well.
No, it's not an influenza. Huh. It's like it has no cure. No, it doesn't have. Most of the sign is a sudden death. Yo. Disturbance of nerves in the sudden death in chickens, and even for if you can call a veterinarian. Unfortunately, Newcastle doesn't affect human being.
Okay.
So most of the notifiable diseases are those diseases that can affect even a human being.
Okay,
I hear you. So that is why we say we encourage people, They must hygiene must be their language as a farmer. You must know, Uri, whenever someone come to visit your farm, give them a protective
Gears.
yeah. Make sure that everything is under control. You disinfect that person. Right?
Okay, nah, I hear you. You go on. Now, as we still on the poultry, I have a little bit of a theory, or I just need some clarity on someone who's actually studying this thing, who know more than I do.
No, it's not a matter of for someone know more than you do. Going to school doesn't mean someone know more than you, because the most thing in these things of agricultural is research. Once you get engaged with a lot of things, be focused, you will know better than someone who's doing. In agri, I usually tell people, my colleagues, sorry, in agri, it's not a matter of theory, it's a matter of action. Once you do action, practical.
No, I just want to tell you about something that I've been observing for some time. So I just want to know if my observations are wrong or they are invalid. I just want to hear your perspective on this, because you sound like a very knowledgeable man, and then I respect that. So looking at people living in the townships, in the villages, there are a lot of poultry farmers around those places, and then they sell their chicken around where they stay, which is a very good thing. Money circulating around the same place. They're creating their own economies. Now, my comparison of a chicken that you buy from Wamasakona in your area, or Bomunyam Kamadi, who have been practicing poultry farm for the past, let's say, 10 years. You buy that chicken, you slaughter it yourself at home, you cook it. It's a very nice meat. Fine. It didn't go through the grading, the coding, or it didn't meet the so-called standard that are required by the department. Now we go to the big retailers that sell meat, Braipek. I don't want to mention names. The Braipek. You buy that meat, you cook it, or immediately if you put it in, you're trying to defrost it, you put it in a bowl with water. Immediately when you touch that meat, you will see things that are very unusual, or you will see things that you wouldn't see to the meat compared to the chicken you buy from around your area. Sometimes there's something like mucus, sticky liquid, which I don't understand what it is. And then we are told that that meat has gone through quality control. And to me, that quality doesn't seem like it's controlled at all.
According to how you understand.
Yes, that's why I said I need your perspective. This is my observation.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me give you an example of what you are saying.
Okay.
If I can, where they've been slaughtered.
Yes.
They've gone through, they've been put in the fridge. And you are talking about something that you are killing now. And you compare something that maybe it is staying for a month in the fridge, or you don't know.
I think it's staying more than a month
in the year.
Because if you kill the same chicken that I'm talking about, you put it in the fridge for 2 months. When you cook it, it still be fine.
The quality there is not measured on. The quality is only measured in the process of slaughtering. In the process where it brought to the market, where it brought to the abattoir.
Okay.
That is only where they measure the quality, not when the meat is already on the market, on the retailers. No, that's where we don't measure quality there.
So the market does not measure quality. The abattoir measures quality.
Yes, for grading and coding, it's one of the important things. For identification, that is what grading does.
Okay. Yeah, but I'm not impressed with those things, to be honest.
You can't be impressed because, sometimes, if you understand this thing, people have a little knowledge on how to market their product. But if we can find maybe an extension agent who have gone through a lot of process in studying agricultural thing, you need an extension, very
extension officer.
Yes, or agent, because those people they are here to bring information, also to help them, also to tell you to discover the challenge that you are facing within your farm.
Okay.
So the one thing that is becoming a problem is the lack of extension officer in the rural area where mainly farming are taking place. Right.
Yes. Yes.
So the lack, and most of people, they are doing subsistence farming.
Substantial farming.
Yeah, it's just that they produce more.
Yes, like my concern is those people produce more and they produce quality as compared to the so-called graded and coded meat that we get in our big retailers. That's my concern. So, like, to add on to that, I have a strong belief that if all the poultry farmers around the villages, the township, come together, take the same chickens that they are farming. They don't even need to open an office in a mall or any. They can use one of the farmers' house to serve as a wholesaler, where they take all their chicken together and then they can take it to the market around the place, as opposed to these things that were being fed by the big retailers. That way, we will be supporting our own local farmers, and that will develop them and make them successful, because we know a lot of farmers are struggling. Be it crop farming, be it poultry, be it piggery. We know people in the villages that are practicing farming are struggling.
As I told you before, or the lack of abattoirs and the lack of cooperative business, right?
Okay.
It has an impact on small farmers, because small farmers, they don't know if they are producing this. If I'm saying, or I'm producing green beans now, I don't know where I'm going to sell that green beans. Okay, it takes 6 weeks to raise a full chicken.
Yeah.
6 weeks. So that 6 weeks has arrived. Now you want to sell your chicken. You are selling it one by one around here.
Yes.
You know how many days or how many weeks it will take you to finish all those chickens selling around.
I know.
And how do you know now, or after 6 weeks, you are running to loss now? You are no longer going to make a profit.
Yeah, because those remaining one needs to eat every day.
And you must know, or boilers are hybrid. They are specifically made for consumption of food. They don't have time for that. they consume everything. That is the main point. Yes. And the main point is that they consume continuously without stopping.
Okay, now, I hear your point. It's the lack of abattoirs, lack of cooperative
business.
Now, who can we cry to make those things accessible to the local and rural and township farmers to be able to take their, let's say, their chicken, so that they can be...
the only way to solve, according to my knowledge and understanding, the only way to solve such matter is through government, municipality. You go to your municipality, you tell them your problem. Right? You know, some other leaders are selfish at some point, but it's better to give it a try rather than saying, or they are selfish. Maybe and whatever you are doing, you must have a proof of it, so that even tomorrow when you become against such thing, you will have a proof. Or this is what I have. Okay. What am I trying to say on that point? This is what I'm trying to say is that all farmers should gather and be one thing, right?
Thank you very much.
When they gather, after they gather, is then they discuss the way forward, and there's only one way they can get assisted very quick, is through an extension agent. If we find extension agent, they are very knowledgeable. Those people, every information. They know a lot of information, new technology. They are the one who know how to solve the problem. If there's introduction of new technology, they are the one who can help you. But we find out around the area, we have extension agent around one. I was talking with, today, before I came here, I was talking with one of the crop production farmer who based around Chino there. So he was saying, or we have extension agent. It's just that is useless. At that extent, you cannot argue, you cannot talk a lot about it, but you might understand, or it's really affecting the mind let me not put in that way. It's really affecting the farmers because they lost hope. This is where they can find hope mostly.
And these extension officers are paid on monthly basis to help farmers, but I can't point out one thing that I know from the extension officers that I know, that this guy helps so and so to achieve that.
That is why I tell you, if you are dealing with agri, it's all about passion.
If you don't rely on government,
it's like a calling. I'm not saying you must not rely on government. I mean, everybody who is engaging in agricultural must have a passion and it must be its calling. Why am I saying so? Because we find a lot of useless people. If you say Minister of Agriculture and you say, what do you know about agriculture? Do you have a passion in agriculture? And the answer will be like a little bit, Nyana. How are you engaging with a rural farmer, with commercial farmer? Large enterprise in terms of farming. How are you engaging with them in terms of understanding their crisis, their problem?
You'd find out that person has no history in agriculture, none whatsoever. And then referring to South African government, in South Africa they just reshuffle. Anyone can be a minister of anything in this country.
That's the problem.
Seriously, anyone can be a minister of anything in this country. Just to offer a bit, Minister Gigaba was once a minister of Home Affairs and then was moved to finance. Like finance and Home Affairs has no link, none whatsoever. But he was moved there, and then just rotating because does not engage too much on the politics. To focus on
until we understand that agriculture is the backbone of everything, or is the backbone in terms of without agriculture there is no food.
Exactly.
We see there is when we talk about manufacturing industry, there are industries that deal with manufacturing.
Yes.
There are those who deal with genetics and breedings, where breedings of animals, plants and crops. That's also one of industries. Ne? So those industries, if we can build them, there are industries which deal with only processing.
Yes.
So if we can engage on that kind of industry, it can help small farmers.
It's basically the value chain. You have the producers, those who are in the ground,
yes,
actually farming, and then you have those who process, you have those who take to the market, and you have the consumers.
You have the consumers.
Yes, so we need to find the link between the actual producers, those who are those who are doing the actual farming,
yes,
and then they need to find a link between them and then those who are processing, those who are manufacturing, and then we take it to the market.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to emphasize on this issue is that we must understand that agricultural, it must be a passion. We must find someone with a passion and love for agriculture. Population is increasing every day. But when population is increasing, what happened to the rural land? The leaders, the chief, which is owning that land, they create more stand instead of
creating a farming plot.
They don't reserve the land for
residential purposes.
Yes, and what happened when such issue happen? It also affect food security in a bad way. How can we only focusing on land of which gonna be occupied by resident, right? And we forget about the land of farming. What are they gonna eat? Agriculture is one of the things that create job opportunity. So once there is a shortage of food supply, you must know where the problem comes.
So the leaders from the top.
Yes, which means the more we have little land, the more we have the problem of food security. But how can we support that issue? Because we find that other farmers, they give they give up in farming. And find maybe they sell their
equipment, their land,
just to make sure that they find something.
Yeah, they find something else to survive on because.
Yeah. Okay, let me give you an example. You know that side of Twinga?
Yes.
Twinga, when I grew up, those people, they used to love farming. Even my grandfather used to love farming. But a lot of land here, it has been taken by force to them. It has been taken by force to them. And what happened when such thing happened? This is what happened actually. People suffer emotionally. You know, this is where they depend on. They farm there, they get maize there. You know,
Yes.
that
They farm to eat, like they are practicing subsistence farming. That's what they farm here so that they can feed their families.
They can feed their families.
So if you are taking something that's going to feed their family, obviously they're going to be affected emotionally, mentally, and somehow financially, because they have to pop up money to buy food.
We are going to face a hunger. Unemployment rate is going to increase. But if the government can support those farmers and give them encourage, give them maybe a little money, a subsidy, you know, it will help them a lot in terms of growing the business. Because, you know, if we can have abattoirs, one thing that we must have abattoirs. When we have abattoirs, those people who are producing chickens, cattle, beef cattle, pigs, they're going to have chance. They're going to have opportunity. You will know, okay, once abattoir is like it's like a business. It's like you say, okay, you are coming with your chicken. I check the quality, the feather, the meat inside. Is there any scars? What? Because it also affect the meat. How fresh is it? The fats inside. Those things. The leg, how fat is the leg, how thick is the leg, how thin is the leg, the weight. That's how we say grading, coding, you know, the types of strain, you know, the types of boilers that you are bringing in the abattoir. So that once we have that record, we can tell you, okay, this is how we are going to pay you. So this is what we find and it contribute, which means to your product, it has more quality in this and this and this, in terms of feather and what and the fats.
The only challenge is that such things, the point where you are raising is very valid and it's important. But how many abattoirs do we have from, let's say, example, from Amala to Louis Richard?
I don't think we have.
Because how many farmers do we have from Hamala to Louis Richard?
We have a lot of farmers, small farmers.
We don't have the abattoirs.
They don't have access to it. But some they will have to drive maybe to.
Yeah, some take their pigs, their goats to auctions, maybe in Gauteng, in Northwest.
You know, Mara Station. I don't know what that place. I once gone.
We're just after Louis Richard. I heard about it.
That's Mara Station. That place, ne? It's a government-owned place. You know, where you can do. You know that thing of steers beef.
Yeah.
Steers beef are those beef where you take maybe, you know, during drought time. A lot of farmers, they fail to feed their cattle. So what do? They sell. Maybe they sell it, okay, because of this. My farm is no longer fat. It has lost. Maybe give me 1,000. You take this cow, and I go take this. I buy those cow in bulk, and I go feed them for fattening purpose. Yeah. And then they get fat. I sell them in high price. That is the steers. Mainly it's for rich people. They took advantage for small farmers.
Yes.
That is the opportunity they make money. Instead of government helping those poor farmers to give them food, to give the animal feed, they don't do that. But in 10 years to come, you know, a lot of farmers, they are going to quit.
Yeah.
We are going to face serious challenge of food.
Yo, my dude, I feel like we just scratched the surface. We need to have more of this conversation. I think for today we can cut it here, and then we'll continue again next week. I feel like you have a lot to say, and you sound like a very knowledgeable man, and then I appreciate your time, and then we will talk again probably next week, and then continue this conversation about agriculture.
No, there's no problem with that. The main purpose is to enlighten people, but you must also